Everybody, this is Jeremiah Grossman, and welcome to HackerKast. This is where we give you the rundown of the week of everything that happened in the application security industry. As always, I'm joined by Robert Arsenic Hansen.
Hello.
And Matt Johansen.
Hello.
And let's get right to it, guys. It's always a lot to learn in AppSec, and it's important to keep on top of things. So the first headline of the day that we'll be talking about is, here's a headline. Verizon customers can now opt out of Supercookies due to government pressure. So, Robert, what is a Supercookie exactly?
Yeah, so Verizon customers and AT&T as well, when you visit websites using one of their connections, they'll tack on in an HTTP header an extra header that can be unique to you, effectively. Now, they claim that it changes all the time and whatever, and it can't be tracked back to you, but of course, there's sort of a back-end connection where if someone pays enough money, they can use that super cookie to figure out exactly who you are and build up sort of marketing profiles on you, which is huge privacy invasion, really, if you think about it. So they basically didn't allow a way for people to opt out of it, but now, very recently, due to government pressure, and I think that came a lot from the people who use Verizon and really can't use anything else since telcos kind of tend to be monopolies in certain regions. They now have a way you can do it. You can either call a phone number or you can go to a website and say when I'm using my internet connection from my known phone or my known internet connection or whatever, don't tack on that particular header for me.
So how does this technologically work? Are they actually adding a cookie to your browser, or is it really just a header that they're attaching to every HTTP request you send? And what's in the header, and who are they sending it to?
The header, it contains a unique string, and it's not a cookie, but it acts just the same way because it's sent on every single request. And anyone can look at it. It's sent it everywhere, all the time, as long as it's HTTP. But it doesn't actually contain your name or anything. But it doesn't matter. Like I said, you can pay Verizon, and they'll give you all the information that you want on that user to build up a marketing profile.
So this is not so good because the way it kind of works. It doesn't sound like like normal cookies. You can turn them off or delete them in your browser. This one on their end, on the outbound, they're attaching it. So it's probably it's got to be all non-encrypted traffic, right? They can't be using super cookies on SSL traffic.
That's right. That's exactly right. So SSL is definitely a way to go here. I mean, the worst part about this is that users, for the most part, can't detect it. I mean, if they do like a proxy in the middle or whatever, and they try to look at their own traffic using like Burp or something, the header's not there because it's not set there. It's set on the upstream on that something like a DSLAM or whatever you've got between you and the internet. So
I guess the only way to other than turning it off is you have to VPN into someplace and encrypt all traffic VPN, so they simply can't inject the header.
That is absolutely correct. Now you have to hope that whatever provider that isn't adding their own super cookies. So
yeah, that's not so good. So, oh man, okay. So first the users have to know that they're being super cookie in this way, and it's really hard for mom and pop to know. And second, then they have to go find and hunt down the place to turn it off. Right. This is just not a good practice by Verizon. This is very unfriendly to privacy.
Same thing with AT&T. I think pretty much every big telco is going to go this way because they make a ton of extra money on their own traffic.
I think it's just laughable that they're saying, "Oh, well, you can turn it off." Like how? Like who is going to do that? Like no one's going to go and find the weird form that's in there that says, "Oh, I got to opt out of this." Even if like you're a customer, do you even know like where to go log into that kind of thing? Do you even know what this is? Right? And they know that they're counting on it. So it's a total person sham.
That's actually a good point. You do have to log in. And a lot of people, that right there is a deterrent. Like, what's my login to my Verizon account? Who knows, right?
Yeah, that's not so good. Hopefully they'll change their practices. They're never going to do it. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, well, why don't you opt in? If there's some value to the user, have them log in and opt into it. But of course, they're never going to do that. So, and the users, like you said, it's kind of monopolistic. They're not going to have a lot of choice. They should really reconsider this one. This is very unfriendly.
Yeah.
All right, so good news of the day. Great, thanks. Okay. But there is a more, I guess, a humorous news because we just passed April Fools, and there's a headline called Tesla shareholders can't take a joke. So, Matt, what was going on with this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say shareholders here, right? We'll get to that in a second. So yeah, Tesla made some fake announcement. You know, a lot of these companies like to get in on the April Fool's action and announce some sort of silly thing that, of course, is fake. And so Tesla announced what they called the Model W. And what it was this brand new device that could tell time while it was on your wrist. But not only the time, but it could give you the date. It could tell you the time no matter where you were on the planet Earth. Oh, man. So I think they listed you could be in Japan or Timbuktu or wherever it was. It could tell the time for you, okay? So this Model W, revolutionary, right? Obviously, it's an April Fool's joke about everyone's getting a new smartwatch and, you know, hopping down the bandwagon there, right? But within moments of this announcement, the stock jumped about $1.50 upwards, which was almost a whole % jump. So it's not bad for, you know, a high dollar stock like that. Wow. So not only that, but nearly 400,000 shares were traded in that 1 minute, which is the highest 1 minute volume of trading that Tesla
oh no
since its public offering in 2012. So yeah, it was ridiculous. So and they, you know, the shares quickly went right back down. So people, I mean, the fact that they went back down, I mean, people potentially lost, right, hundreds of thousands of dollars in that minute when it went back down. What this really shows here is that there's algorithms out there just making trading decisions, you know, as fast as they possibly can. And they saw a headline of Tesla announcing a Model W, whatever that was, and they didn't know any further that it was a joke about a watch. They just hoped that, oh, hey, here's this new product offering. I'm going to make this decision about, you know, hoping that this is going to be a good thing for the stock, right? And so, I mean, we saw this a while ago when the Associated Press Twitter account got hacked, and they tweeted that there was a bomb at the White House, and the stock market went boom for like, you know, nanoseconds, and then came back up once they realized that it was a hoax. But yeah, I mean, there's just tons of automated stock trading going on out there every day, trying to be the first to make these decisions and make, you know, fractions of % on their money here and there. Just kind of crazy.
Sounds fun. It sounds like an area that's ripe for trolling. Just send out certain news in certain ways that you cause the high-frequency traders a little heartburn.
Yep. And that's why I said shareholders, right? Because this is really robots.
Yeah.
Robots couldn't take a joke.
They're a shareholder for a microsecond.
It's insane.
All right, let's try. How about this headline here? This is pretty interesting. Bugs in Tor network used in attacks against underground markets. So right there, what attacks exactly and what underground market? So Robert is our resident Tor expert. So.
So I actually don't like the word bug in this because I think this is actually kind of semi by design, but it was certainly not used for that purpose. But basically what happened is somebody can send a whole bunch of messages out that say, you know, introduce, and it creates these circuits. Kind of think about it like a socket. It's kind of like building up a socket between one server and another server. But to do that, you have to build these like complex circuits between multiple different, you know, hosts and whatever. So if someone sent like tons and tons and tons and tons of these introduced messages, they could create, you know, effectively, you know, more or less an infinite amount of connection circuits to that final host, to the hidden service. And, you know, that hidden service simply couldn't handle it because they have to do a lot of processing power on their side to build up that circuit. So they could send massive and massive runs to requests and basically take down that hidden service without actually knowing where it is. And it's, like I said, it's not really a bug. It's kind of by design, but they're sort of contemplating right now what to do about it.
So that's pretty interesting. So I guess are the details known? Are other people able to use this while they figure out the defense?
They are known. It's definitely something that anyone could do if they knew how to build those types of circuits up. You would probably need quite a few machines to launch that kind of thing if you weren't being super smart about it. but it wouldn't take a whole lot of machines to take down like an Apache instance on some crappy little virtual server or something, simply because it doesn't have a whole lot of memory and processing power.
So are there combos
in an ad network potentially?
Kind of. I mean, it would have to speak TCP/IP is the problem, so that's a little bit harder. But but that future technology that speaks HTTP and TCP or UDP or whatever, that might be able to do it.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right, let's move on to the. This is another one, so which was pretty interesting. It's the headline reads: YouTube hack threatened Justin Bieber videos. So right there, you have YouTube hack Bieber, has all the makings for a great headline, all looped into one. Massive link bait. But what this is a Russian coder, as it's put. His name is Camille. I'm going to butcher his last name, so I'll opt out of that one. But he found a way in YouTube to delete any video he wanted, and it was the method he was using, the technique, which was interesting. But he was able to find the mechanism to do it. He was able to delete a whole lot of videos really, really quickly. And so there's some very humorous quotes in the story, but rather than cause damage, he actually took advantage of Google's bug bounty program. So he sent over his YouTube exploit to Google, and they gave him $5,000 bounty money for allowing them time to fix the vulnerability. And so here's one of the quotes that were just pretty comical by Camille. I spent 6 to 7 hours on the research. Considering for a couple of those hours, I fought the urge to clean up the Bieber channel. So I put this out on Twitter, and I had a ton of people respond that says he should have just deleted the Bieber videos.
I know people who would have paid more than $5,000 for that to happen.
Oh man! So this shows you the ethical debates bug bounty hunters and hackers go through. Do I take the $5,000 or do I delete Bieber videos? But it kind of shows you there is some very good ethics in InfoSec. No Bieber videos were harmed in the making of this research. So they took the $5,000. So that was good. I mean, imagine that wiping out all of the videos on a whole bunch of channels. That would have actually caused a lot of damage. It's actually kind of funny that Google didn't offer him more money, because that was a pretty bad one.
Yeah, when I first read that, my initial reaction was, I can't believe he just didn't do it. Just take out all of YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, when you have something like that, maybe $5,000 is worth something to him, but man, just the urge to completely wipe out a channel, the entire company that quickly, then would be.
You got to imagine that they could probably put a stop to it and roll back pretty quick. But yeah,
I got the impression it permanently deleted those videos, not temporarily, permanently. So maybe they have some old archive of some stuff somewhere, and obviously people have their own videos they could re-upload, but I kind of got the impression it was gone, like completely gone.
It would mess up view counts for sure, right? And a lot of people make their living off of that, right? Oh, they have a certain amount of views so that they get a certain amount of ad revenue. It would have really messed up with some people's income.
Mm-hmm.
And it does speak a lot, again, to the ethics and the responsibility of the research community, because one, he found it. A lot of other people could have found it and used it well ahead of him. They didn't, and we've never seen issues like this happening on YouTube. So just shows that these bug bounty programs work, and there's actually some good character involved in the bounty hunter industry.
Yeah, basically YouTube lucked out.
Yeah, and so did Bieber. He's on notice.
Who pays the price? The rest of us that have to put up with the YouTube videos that are still up.
I just wouldn't want to be the guy who let Justin Bieber's videos like completely go unscathed. I wouldn't want to be that guy.
Imagine he's going to show up at DEF CON or Black Hat, and everybody's going to go like, "Come on, man." All right, let's go through one more web security story here. This one reads, do not track, quote unquote, it's the feature, do not track no longer the default setting for Microsoft browsers. So they're talking about Internet Explorer 11 here. I think they're calling it Project Spartan still or something like that. Mm-hmm. Now, for those that don't know what do not track is, it's a header that if configured correctly in your browser will send a header to the website that you're visiting, telling the website an indication that I don't wish to be tracked. Please do not track me. So it's kind of a privacy system that's on the honor system. Now, there isn't a whole lot of support for this feature because there is no mechanism behind it. There was no power or accountability behind it, but it was there. Now, Microsoft, in their latest version of Internet Explorer, had turned on Do Not Track by default, a default privacy setting, to indicate that the users didn't want to be tracked. Now, lots of advertising companies and portal gateways and things like that didn't like this decision at all. They said if it's made on behalf of the user, we're not going to respect it. And basically, Do Not Track, or DNT, was dead on arrival. So I think actually the whole tech is basically dead now. Microsoft just backed up from it and said, DNT, yeah, we're going to turn the default off. And how many people are really going to turn it on?
Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea to turn it off. It's a weird thing to say as a privacy guy, but it just doesn't work, and it's been proven not to work. But I think the major reason beyond the obvious advertising stuff is it actually does add just a tiny bit of extra bandwidth, and that's just a waste. They're sort of in a war to make their browser faster, and why have a couple extra bytes in there that can push it over to the next packet? So you're sending one more packet when you don't need to every once in a while. I think it probably is the right decision, despite the fact that it is a privacy loss for the people who were taking advantage of sites that did actually do something with Do Not Track.
The thing is that if it's on by default, or if it's on, people don't respect it. If you don't turn it on, people don't respect it. So what was the point anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why we've always been advocates of cannot track as opposed to do not track. So you install an ad blocker or a tracker blocker like Disconnect or AdBlock Plus, and you'll get a lot more value that way. And turn off third-party cookies and all that other kind of good stuff.
Not AdBlock Plus, since they allow ads to get through.
Yeah, AdBlock. Yeah, I mean, we have two products there. That's always like, it's pretty horrendous. There's AdBlock Plus. Used to be pretty good. And then we have AdBlock, which is very, very similar. Same names.
Exactly.
But one is plus, man. It's of course.
Yeah.
Plus some ads.
That's got to be the better one. So we could maybe AdBlock guys have to add a little adjective, like super plus good.
No, if plus is bad, then minus must be good. So.
Oh yeah, AdBlock minus. Now with even less ads. Got it. All right, so that's the AppSec for the week. We'll see you next time. If you like what we do here, please rate, please subscribe, send us your stories, let us know what you want to talk about, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Bye now.